All players are individuals with differences. The development of children and young people is not linear and does not happen at the same pace for everyone. Quite on the contrary, players' physical, mental, and social development often takes place at a different pace among the players in your team. Therefore, we need to look at a more comprehensive way of looking at your player's age and development. Age can be described in two ways: chronological and biological age. Our chronological age is the age stated in one's passport, so simply the number of years that have passed since your birth. Biological age, however, is the age of physical and mental maturity. So people develop at different paces, and this development is not linear. In a team with players where everyone is born the same year, so all have the same chronological age, it can therefore differ many years in biological age, so in their physical and mental maturity. Children and young people develop both physically and mentally, and both these aspects affect football. So this means that players' development of football skills are influenced by their very different physical and mental development. You can never determine at an early age who will become the most technical player or best goalkeeper or the like, because their physical and mental development will determine this only after puberty. This means that you might have players that, when entering puberty, lose their speed or coordination with the ball because they grew so fast so that their technique didn't have time to adjust to their new height. Or you can have players who develop their cognitive understanding of the game later than many others in the team. But when they do, they take huge steps forward with their game, as it was a missing piece to the player's overall development. The player's biological development also influences their sexuality and social interaction with friends, which influences their lives, and as we know, then also football. Another big part of this development concerns our identity. That is what makes each person unique. When entering puberty, we explore our identity to arrive at a more comprehensive understanding of everything that makes up our identity and who we are. Answering questions such as, who am I, and what ideals and values do I have and do I want to live by? The identity is developed in interaction with the environments we are in, our football team, family, school, and among friends. And the areas that a person identifies most strongly with are usually most important for their identity development. So for example, if football is most important to a child, areas outside of football must also be encouraged to create a balance, such as the child in school. If there is a balance between different identities, it will be easier to see the whole person, which contributes to the child's well-being and development. The coach therefore has an important task in supporting the individual's development in different areas, and not only in football. Since development is not constant but varies and comes and goes, it is not certain that the physical, mental, and social development of a player fully follow each other. So for example, a player may have come a long way in her physical development. She runs fast, shoots hard shots, or in her mental development, understanding the game well. But then there will also be periods when she grows a lot or she enters puberty, and what was previously experienced as easy can feel awkward again or difficult. For example, their technique with the ball or the social interaction and collaboration within the team. So assessing players after early physical development, what is called the relative age effect, and that is actually quite common in football, has been shown to overrepresent players born during the first half of the year in, for example, youth national teams. But there is no established link or evidence that players who are physically developed early would also turn out to be the best athletes as adults. A paradox in this context is that most education plans, in sports for example, are often based on the chronological age to divide different age groups, as well as to organize and structure the content of the training. But between children in the same age group, it can differ up to 5 years in biological development. So therefore, as a coach, you have a responsibility to avoid early selection or permanent leveled groups. It is important that you as a coach know the non-linear development of your players and that you create a safe environment where everyone has the opportunity to develop through learning and reaching their full potential. So to summarize the development of children and young people, your football players have a basic need to feel the joy of movement, to play, to have friends, and to learn new things. However, their development is non-linear, and their physical, mental, and social parts of the player develop at different pace among the group of players. But the three different parts also develop differently within the individual player as well. Because you as a coach are aware of how the development takes place differently with your players, it is also easier for you to see each individual and work with them to highlight and understand their personal learning and development process, avoiding comparisons within the team that really serve no purpose. Of course, you should train and organize activities for the whole team, but be sure to see the individuals during each training. As we talked about in our first training, values-based leadership, you as a coach create a safe place for your players, whereby, for example, checking in and out during each training also has the opportunity to continuously inform you around how your players are doing in life in general and how they feel, allowing you to plan trainings thereafter and to maximize the learning outcomes based on your players' conditions and prerequisites. So creating a safe space is totally aligned with developing great football players. You can do both and you should do both.